Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. Now, today I kind of want to talk about the Caterpillar and expand a little bit on what I was talking about yesterday when I talked about taking ships out and exploring and seeing what's possible with them. And one of the ships that is really high on my list to test out is the Caterpillar. Now, of course, the Caterpillar, it's the armored cargo transport we all know and love, and one of my personal favorite ships. Now, one of the things about the Caterpillar that makes it interesting, and I've talked about this with other ships and other possibilities, is the ability to land ground forces with the Caterpillar. Now, right now, all we have are cargo pods on the Caterpillar, but I think that with some very minor changes to the Caterpillar, you can actually enhance its ability to deliver troops and possibly create a cargo pod for this ship using the existing cargo pod for probably very little effort on the part of CIG, and something that would enhance the ship beyond just strictly the cargo pods that we have now. And what I'm talking about is, like, I guess a landing pod or a troop deployment pod. Now, often when proposing changes to ships or modifications, a lot of these are fairly involved and require a lot of work. But truthfully, the way the Caterpillar is laid out is, well, frankly, it's quite brilliant. All these cargo bays open up and then can be accessed from the side or the front nose bay from the front. There's 4 of the standard cargo bays, and the nose bay makes 5. And each one of these you can simply fly out the side, or you can fly in the other side. The only thing that really gets in your way is that catwalk and ladder. Now, of course, that catwalk and ladder exists in every single cargo bay, and once again, this is the cargo pod. So it kind of makes sense, but there's a more efficient way to use that space. And when you look at the sort of these entry points all along the side of the ship, and this persists all the way down the side of the ship, this is a really great space where you could use to launch vehicles from. Recover them from one side, launch them out the other. It makes sense. The only real problem is the ladder. If you could take this ladder and move it out of that open space and push it up against the wall and just allow you to walk up through the catwalk that way, you would save a lot of space. So potentially you could store 3 space bikes in here. Now, if you go up the ladder to the catwalk, once again, we can make some changes to this space. You can place a beam across that open gap and then simply extend the catwalk out to that beam, in effect creating a second floor within the space, which you can use to store equipment, ammunition, supplies, or pilfered goods that you've picked up along the way. Admittedly, these would be more space bike centric changes to the cargo pods, but by doing that, you would actually turn these into almost like mini carrier pods for space bikes, for deploying them either on the ground or in space. And just these minor changes with the ladder and with creating a second tier to these cargo pods, you can then carry probably 3 space bikes per cargo bay, allowing you to deploy up to 15 space bikes out of a Caterpillar, which can each carry 2 troopers. So that's 30 troops that you can deploy out of a Caterpillar using space bikes with some minor changes to the existing cargo pods. That allows you to either land or in space deploy up to 30 troops, and that's a pretty significant force. Now, if you want to deploy much larger vehicles like, say, Tumbril Cyclones, Ursa Rovers, of course, you've got the space to do so, and the catwalk is in the way, but if you deploy here out of the right side, then you can easily deploy at least 4 of those vehicles, if not a 5th one, out of the front. The problem is how do you get it down from within the ship onto the ground? Well, it turns out there is a top secret military project that would allow you to do that. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get arrested for showing you this, but this is a top secret DARPA project that they've been working on. It's called the Removable and Portable Steel Ramp. This would allow you, like if you're deploying a Tumbril Cyclone or an Ursa Rover or even a Greycat PTV, to simply roll it off and then roll it back on whenever you're done using it, if you're trying to land it on a planet. And that wouldn't even require you to change the cargo pods at all. It would simply mean you have to carry these little steel ramps inside your cargo bay and simply place them to let the vehicle roll off. Now, the placement might require some programming wizardry, because as we saw in the Gamescom demo, there's still some kinks to be worked out getting up and onto ramps in such a way that it doesn't actually crush or destroy the ship that's trying to get up there. But realistically, I don't think this is anything that they couldn't surmount. And the changes for the space bike, creating a second tier up there, I don't think that that's really a major change that would require a lot of time to do. Now, of course, the space bike version would require some minor structural changes, but possibly that's something that you could sell, or something that could be just an optional configuration of the existing cargo pod that you might allow players to simply switch by flipping a switch. This extends outwards, this closes up, and now you have a two-tiered cargo bay. Now, in truth, the vehicle pipeline is really crowded right now, and there's a lot of ships waiting to get out there. And so, even though these are relatively minor changes, at least from my point of view, chances are they're not going to be seen anytime soon. Even if someone from CIG watched this video and said, "Hey, actually, that's a good idea. We should adopt that," chances of them actually taking the Caterpillar and putting it back into the production pipeline and making a few changes to it or adding a few options to it are probably not forthcoming. I mean, the ability to change out the cargo pods on the ship for something else, I'm not even sure if that is fully implemented yet. I mean, the spaces where you can drop them out are obviously there, but just like the detachable cockpit, it might be one or two fairly big steps in order to implement all of that. So the Caterpillar that we got now is probably the Caterpillar that we're going to have for a while. So no detachable cockpit, and chances are we're not going to be able to swap cargo pods anytime soon. But if someone from CIG is watching this video and the Caterpillar ever comes up for discussion, I think these are two pretty good ideas for how you could either add some options to the existing cargo pods or make some hopefully minor changes and add some usability and some convenience, especially for deploying space bikes in space. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.